Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to another YouTube video on the channel. And today guys, we're going to be continuing our 3-game match reviews series. Alright guys, and in today's video we have got 3 more games to cover, all the games from the Sunday. And these games are pretty interesting as well. So the first game being North West Coast, second game being Richmond GWS, and the third game being Freo St Kilda. So I feel like these games, because I do know the scores and all that, I have seen the scores. Now, these games are quite evenly matched around, like, places where they both might sit, like North Melbourne, West Coast maybe a little bit lower. Freo St Kilda trying to push for the 8. GWS trying to push for the 8. Richmond trying to push for the 8. You got these teams that are trying to push for the 8. These 4 all within good range. So I feel like these games were quite evenly matched on the Sunday. So we're going to be hopping into North Melbourne West Coast first at Marvel Stadium, and this one was a very different game to what you'd normally see. So a bit of a different game, as of course half of West Coast's team was made up of players that had either played some senior footy before or absolutely none at this level. So this was a very different kind of game. You can see like players like Declan Mountford don't have their profile up because they're new. They never have played a game of footy before. We have a look at the teams real quick. We have a look at the lineups. We might be able to see who went in and who went out. Well, anyway, if you just look at the West Coast lineup, right? You've got like you can just look here and you can just see players that you've never really seen before, like Mountford, Black, Ainsworth, I'm pretty sure, Gyro. I mean, we have seen Gyro before, but not in West Coast colours. But yeah, it was a very interesting and different team by the Eagles. But that's the only way they would have been able to play the game because of the outs they had. Now, North Melbourne, they were exceptional in this game as well. Now, this game was quite scrappy. It was very low scoring. But North Melbourne, with the 6-goal Larky, it was pretty good. Now, you can see that the Eagles had a little lead, and then it pretty much just hovered around this 20-point mark for the rest of the game. It wasn't the most interesting game you'll ever see or anything like that, but yeah, it was just hovered around that 20-point lead for most of the game. Now, you can see that Jack Zeeble, Hugh Greenwood, 29 disposals. Jack Zeeble, 127 fantasy, 10 tackles for Hugh Greenwood, and of course, Larky, 6 goals. Now, Greenwood got close to the 120 fantasy, and Larky, 110. And then the only other player to get over 100 was Luke Shuey. Luke Shuey is a really good player. 9 tackles for Luke Shuey, 8 for Presky Seaton. And then 4 more goals for Willie Rioli, 2 for Turner, and then 1 for a lot of players. So, yeah. Now, let's go and have a look at the hitouts. Tristan Xerri, Todd Goldstein were absolutely dominating West Coast in this area. So, yep, absolutely dominant. So, that's where that went. That's how that one went. So, wasn't one out of the middle? Did North get the clearances? Look at that, 44-13. And were they without Nick Nat? I'm pretty sure they were without Nick Nat, were they? Yes, they were without Nick Nat by those things. Let's see. Yeah, they were without Nick Nat. So that makes a difference when a team's without your best ruckman quite easily. But clearances, North Melbourne were getting it out of the centre and driving inside forward 50. So that's how they could have scored. Now, both teams, you could say, were fairly inaccurate in this contest. Eagles could have won. North could have won. Well, North did win, but they could have won by more. Eagles could have won. Yeah, it could have really gone either way, this one. And West Coast, I'm going to say that they did a very good job for how they were going into that game. They were going in with not a very strong team at all. We have a look at disposals. Hull the next best with 26. So I'll see you guys at the next game. Now, they're a big game that made the Giants go 0-2 in this one. Richmond smashed the Giants by 36 points. So for Richmond fans, you'll be happy that you got your bounce back this round now. I probably would have tipped the Giants had it been anywhere else but the MCG, as Richmond don't like going to Marvel. I don't think they'd be able to win at Giants Stadium. But there was the one place where they can win, the MCG, and I backed them, and they got the job done. So this game was very interesting for the first part, as it was extremely close, and I was like, ooh, we might have a close game here. And then Richmond just started to branch it out a little bit more until they got to that 36-point margin. It was hanging around the 40 for a little bit there, or close to the 40 anyway. And Davis is going down for the Giants, so that's going to be a big loss if he's out. And then Tom Green, 34 touches, 4 goals for Noah Bolter, 131 fantasy for Short, and 8 tackles for Trent Cotchin. Now, if we have a look at, go back to the worm, you can see there that second term, the staircase went up and it kind of hovered around that 20 to 30 point margin for the rest of the game, or 20 to 35. The Giants just there, but again, not really doing anything to get back. Now, I did see that Nank had his brilliant kick out of the air. That was fantastic, and I'm pretty sure the ruck battle. Let's see the Giants hit outs. When Green went in for his one hit out, he got absolutely smashed by Nankervis, and Nankervis was definitely the better ruck. Soldo went in there and had a little bit as well, and the Giants tools in Himmelberg, Green, Riccardi had to go in and help Flynn out. That's how that one went, though. It was a pretty interesting game. So Jaden Short was pretty good for the Tigers, collecting 131 fantasy, 106 for Broad, 105 for Cumming, 104 for Torano, 104 for Kelly, 102 for Green, 101 for Rioli. So that's how it went. There was plenty of Giants players that got in the act as well. 34 touches for Green, 33 for Short, 28 for Ward, 27 for Taranto. And then we have a look at the tackles. 8 for Cochrane, and then 5. Wow, no one even got close. No one even got close to him. Now let's have a look at the goals behind. Bolter got 4. Lynch got 3. Bolton got 2. Kelly got 2. Himmelberg got 2. Solder got 2. Taranto got 2. And Cornelia got 2. So that's how that one went. This one was quite an interesting game, but this one actually did prove a fair bit. The Tigers, they are hunting, they are looking for the 8. We do know that the Giants don't play their best footy at the MCG though, so they're back at Giants Stadium next week up against the Suns. Could be a good game. Again, I feel like the Giants will probably end up being too strong as they do play their best footy at Giants Stadium. And for the Tigers, they've got the Saints next week, and that is going to be an interesting battle, I reckon. Not at the MCG, so could go against them. Now, have a look though. Free kicks were dominated for the Tigers. Hit-outs dominated in Tigers. Clearances dominated in Tigers, except centre clearances, which were very even. Giants +1. So, that's going to be it for this game, and we're going to be going on to the final game of the round, Fremantle versus St Kilda. Now, this game is almost a choke, if you like, for the Fremantle Dockers, even though it is hard to call it a choke when it's a low-scoring game. But, man, they lost it from when they almost had won it in the second term, pretty much. Midway through the third term, they were up right here. They were up by just over 10 points. This one was a very close game, I'll tell you that as well. But boy, if the Dockers want to make the 8, they've got to win pretty much their next 7 or 8, if there's any chance, because their fixture gets dramatically harder. So unless if they think they can beat teams like Richmond, the Western Bulldogs away from home, geez, they're going to have to fine-tune some skills, because losing to the Saints at home is just not simply going to cut it. Now, what I will say, though, is that the Dockers were extremely good for the first half of footy, and for that first part of the third term, that staircase there was the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals in a row to the Saints. That is what cost the Dockers the game right there, and then they couldn't do anything about it, and it was just too little too late, and they ended up losing by 10 points. Now, the thing about that is that they need to try and win their first few games as their fixture gets dramatically harder. I've actually made a video about it, a fair way back, but I made a video about it, because they've got a very hard finish to their fixture and then an easy start. So you've got to make the most of this easy start. And And their 1 point win against the Crows was not the dream start they'd be hoping for. So this game could have gone in 50-50. And the Saints, they were inaccurate. They got the job done in the end over a Dockers team that just couldn't finish what they started. So this game was remarkable. Andy Brayshaw, 101 AFL fantasy. Talk about that. That's just, I've never seen a score up there like that. That is just crazy. Jack Steele, 13 tackles. He does it week in, week out. You know what you're getting from Jack Higgins. Jack Steele, sorry. And then, yes, Jack Higgins kicks 4 goals along with Max King. That is 8 of their 9 goals through them two. So they only had another goal scorer. And then Brayshaw, 40 touches. Brayshaw, I'll tell you what, this guy's going to be a Brownlow medalist in the future. If he's doing stuff like this, and he kicks the goal as well, and his disposal efficiency is there, 8 tackles, he's going to be a very good player. And Will Brodie getting in with the 7 tackles as well. Luke Ryan, the next best player on the ground with 127 fantasy. 117 for Battle, 109 for Brodie, 105 for Steele, 102 for Young and Higgins. Now they're having a look at the goals. 2 for Lobb and Collier. 1 for Brayshaw, Walters, Meek, O'Driscoll, Butler. So Butler was the only other Saints scorer. And in a low-scoring game, you'll sometimes find that you've just got, like, players tripping in with 1-2 goals here and there. But no, this one was dominated by Higgins and King. But yeah, it was a very interesting game. Disposals now, 32 for Ryan, 31 for Young, 30 for Hill, 29 for Crouch. So it was an interesting game, though. Rowan Marshall wins the hitouts with 26, 16 for Meek. Darcy got 12, and then 6 for Hayes, and then 1 for Lobb. Hayes is looking pretty good as well, joining the Saints. He's been pretty good. Now, going to have to wrap it up here, though, unfortunately enough. But oh, look at that. Clearances, though. All on the Saints' term in stoppages. Hitouts, clearances, centre clearances, stoppage clearances. So there was some very big games that really made this round. So the end of round number 2, Hawthorn are on top, 2nd are Collingwood, 3rd are Sydney, 4th are Melbourne, 5th are Brisbane, 6th are Carlton with 8 points, 7 Geelong, 8 Gold Coast, 9 Richmond, 10 North Melbourne, 11 St Kilda, 12 Fremantle all with 4 points, and then Western Bulldogs, West Coast, Adelaide, GWS, Essendon and Port Adelaide at bottom, will beat the teams with 0 points. So there's some big work that needs to be done for these teams going into round 3. They need to find their first win. These teams have got a big showdown coming up as well. Adelaide versus the Power, who will get the bragging rights. So there's going to be so much more for you coming in the next match reviews. Alright guys, so next round is going to be the Thursday and the 2 Friday night games in the first one, the Saturday games in the second one, and the Sunday games in the third one. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe me. Hit that notification bell so you guys will never miss another video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much for watching. So bye everyone. Flaming Footy out.